All right, welcome back. This is Unit 1, Lesson 4, Rounding. So we're going to be picking up where we left off with significant figures, and we're going to talk specifically about rounding them when we use mathematical equations. So let's first talk a little bit about rounding. So in science, we have some specific rules for when we round measurements of various precision. So remember we talked about precision and significant figures in the previous video. So here, just to kind of refresh our memories about different decimal places. So you can see your decimal here is in the middle, and then to the left you have your ones, tens, hundreds, and to the right, tenths, hundredths, thousands, etc. Just to kind of refresh our memories a little bit. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we do when we add and subtract numbers and we want to keep their precision. So when adding or subtracting, the answer you get can only be as precise as the least precise term. So, just to kind of help us put this into reference a little bit, the more decimal places a number has, the more precise it is. So, if I have 1.0 as opposed to 1.00, 1.00 is a little bit more precise. It's got more decimal places to make it more precise. So, when I add and subtract, my answer is going to be as precise as the least precise term. It's another way of saying the one with the least amount of decimal places. So least number of decimal places, whichever number has it, that's what my answer is going to have also. So let's look at some examples. All right, so when we add and subtract, so let's look at our first example. So example A, I have 33.5 centimeters plus 7.8 centimeters plus 0.977 centimeters. So notice each of these has a different precision or a different number of decimal places. So you can see I identified that in the example. So when I do my answer, it has to be as precise as the least precise term, or whichever term has the least number of decimal places. In this case, it's 33.5, because 0.5 is only the tenth, not as precise as something that's in the hundredths or thousands. So my answer is only going to have one decimal place. So what you're going to do first is you're just going to add your numbers together. So when I do that, I get 42.357 centimeters. My next step then is I need to round based on my rule. So least precise, meaning least number of decimal places. So it's going to be 42.4 centimeters. So I want you to go ahead and try example B. All right, now that you've done an example with adding and subtracting, let's try multiplying and dividing. So when we multiply or divide, our answer can only have as many significant figures as the number with the fewest. So whichever term in our equation has the least number of sig figs, that's how many sig figs have to be in your final answer. So here's an example, and then you'll be doing example B. So in example A, we have 67.23 centimeters. So that's 4 sig figs. And then we're going to multiply by 9.22 centimeters, 3 sig figs. So my answer can only have as many sig figs as the least number of sig figs in whichever term. So in this case, 3 sig figs is smaller than 4. So my answer can only have 3 significant figures. So first, we're going to do our math. Next, we're going to round it. So again, I can only have 3 sig figs. You're going to go ahead and try example B. So just a kind of a reminder for the end. So remember, you're going to do your math first. Then you're going to determine the precision or the significant figures in a number. So if you added or subtracted, you'll look at the precision. So whichever one has the least number of decimal places. And then if you multiply or divide, the sig figs, least number of sig figs. And that's what your answer should have. And then you'll round accordingly. That's it for this video. Thank you. And please make sure you wrote down any questions you may have and answer all questions. See you soon.